not feel, in short, do you not feel like you're getting the respect that you deserve on this Monday after that win?
No, just because, Chuck said so much how he's going to knock me out, all kinds of fans saying, oh, Chuck's going to knock you out again, what do you got to prove? And I proved that I'm a vicious fighter. I proved that I haven't really lost it. People say, well, you lost to Chuck twice when you both guys were in your prime. I wasn't in my prime. I was only in the game for 5 years, 4 years. I was still learning. I'm still learning. I was going through my back problems before my back surgery. I mean, there was so many things that I was dealing with. Now when I'm healthy, now when I'm on point, and Chuck said he wanted to fight me. He's the one who called me out. He's the one who agreed to fight me. He's the one who kept talking trash, saying that I'm a tune-up fight. Building everything the way he wanted to do, and all of a sudden when I smash him an easy way I did, people say, oh, that wasn't Chuck Liddell that it used to be. But why would you say so much things that how you're going to smash me, how I'm a tune-up fight, and everybody else followed that same lead that he did, and then when I do it, they bash me for it. But it comes to show that there's so many Chuck Liddell fans out there, and I'm sorry to all the Chuck Liddell fans that I ruined your night.
You've been in the cage with him twice before. You've obviously known him for a long time. You've even trained with him back in the day. When you were in the cage with him on Saturday and feeling him out early on, did that seem like the old Chuck to you, or did it seem like a slower, older Chuck?
When I looked across, it looked exactly like the same Chuck to me. Of course, when the competition came about, first couple punches were thrown. I mean, I'm sparring with younger guys now. I'm sparring with guys who are fast. So he did look a little slower. But at the same time, it goes to my training partners. All the training partners that I had, Moses Murrieta, Herdine, Jay Silva, all these guys that are a little bit faster and younger, that's what I was prepared for.
Dana kind of, sort of has a point. I think when they signed this guy at 19, they thought he was going to be a big star by 21, and he hasn't quite gotten there yet. So I sort of get what he's talking about. But as I mentioned as well, maybe he's not where you thought he would be at 21, but the kid is on his way. They signed him way too early, and he nevertheless did all the things he was supposed to do to get better. And by 21, he's a good fighter now, and he was maturing into what could have been something really, truly special. Now we'll see what happens in the next chapter, but I give a ton of credit to Sage, who struggled early, dropped out of school, or at least put it on the back burner, which, again, given her circumstances, is probably the right call. Took his camp to Team Alpha Male, did all the right things, and I thought in that Zach Otto performance in his last fight, which of course was in July, he looked great. So he fought out his contract, and they split ways. I mentioned there were two key things here to keep in mind. Dana White's characterization was the contract was up and they just let him walk. My hunch is that that's probably not true. My hunch is that he flew to Singapore recently, Sage did. My hunch is that one or another organization has bid for his services, and the UFC just doesn't want to be leveraged. They came up with a figure. UFC has first right of refusal, and they were like, nah, we're not going to match that. Like, you take what we give you or you move along. Now, I need to talk to Sage to get the full details there, but I'm going to guess that this is less about Sage having the requisite skill set at this point, more than it is about money and what they think his worth might be. Right? It's just hard for me to believe. It's like the guy's better than he was when you first signed him. You were super excited about him then. Yes, he had to get better, but he's 6-2 in the UFC in a span of 3 years. Like, what's the problem? That's a great record. And yeah, he didn't beat the very best of the best, but he was just beginning, in my judgment, in the last two fights, the Guti fight and the Otto fight, beginning to really turn that corner to get to a place where you could say, okay, this guy can do something. And they let him walk. I don't think they let him walk because they were like, he's not good enough. This is an organization that told an Olympian in Ben Askren he needed to get experience in World Series of Fighting. He never did that. He spent his prime outside the organization. He fought and won, and they signed him after that. It's like, it makes no sense. It's like, oh, by the way, he needs to get, Sage does, he needs to get skills. What does CM Punk need to get? That part doesn't make any sense at all.
He looked like a 50-year-old taking a fight.
Yeah.
He looked like a 50-year-old taking a fight. Dana White got this one right when he went, hell no, he should never fight again. There's a reason why everyone was telling Chuck to retire. There's a reason why, like, dude, please stop fighting. Please stop fighting. You know, with the knockout, the Rich Franklin knockout, the Rashad Evans, you know, it built up. So you forget why they wanted him to retire so bad. And then you were reminded 8 years later why. And it was awkward. It was heartbreaking. It was like watching Superman, who's on chemo, come back out to fight somebody and just get his ass whooped, man. And I do not know the gym he trained at. I don't know that camp. I fought fighters at that camp. God, man, you should be ashamed of yourself for anyone telling him that he could do this, to encourage him to do this. You know, if he walked into Trevor Whitman's gym in Denver, Colorado, or if he asked Jason Perello to train him, they would have told him no. And I think I got my confidence in selling this fight to you guys, which I'm ashamed of, and saying, man, I'm intrigued. I think it's going to be fun, and promote on social media just because I want these guys to get paid. That's the only reason I'm doing this. Do I think it was going to be the best MMA product of 2018? No, come on. But if you're a fight fan, I think it's a good spectacle. They're two legends. They both want to do it. How they got cleared by the California Commission, I will never know to this day, especially Chuck. Tito seemed fine, but Chuck, how in the world did they clear him? But his entire camp and the people that are surrounding him and his team should be ashamed. And that's not a case of Chuck Liddell having an off night. That's not a case of him not being present, not showing up for the fight. That's the case of the body's shot. The brain and body is shot there. It's just not there in any facet. So I don't know what you saw in camp that gave you the green light and to embrace this and take him under your wing. I have no idea. We should all be ashamed of ourselves. Now, hopefully, a bunch of people bought this, so he made a lot of money. And Tito Ortiz, and I'll ask if Tito's on the show, I'll ask him the same thing. When he goes, Chuck, we still want you to fight. How dare you? How dare you?
I very like this opportunity to face Joanna, because we already fought in Muay Thai before. Now we have our history in Muay Thai. Now we will create our new history under MMA rules. And of course, it's every time you want to compete with the best ones. So she's a good striker, and I think it will be a very good striker fight. Mm-hmm. A lot of hits at that night.
You fought her 3 times in Muay Thai?
Yes, we fought 3 times in the World Muay Thai Championships.
And you beat her each time, right?
Each time, yeah.
Does that translate at all? It's a different sport, but is there anything that you can kind of say is the same that would help you going into this fight?
For sure, it's different sport, but it's the final of the day. It's the same. It's the same experience. It's the same fight. Of course, we could see that Joanna, she's more striker than grappler or whatever. Same. I'm complete fighter. I'm complete MMA fighter. But my favorite part is of course striking, and because Muay Thai for me, I was competing for so many years that. I really enjoy to fight Muay Thai, and actually I see, like I said, it will be a very, very striking fight.
You guys are both kind of at the top of the level, right, in Muay Thai. You guys are 2 of the best at that time. What do you remember about those fights and your interactions with her? Were you guys friendly? What was the relationship like?
We was fighting in 2006 2007 and 2008.
3 years in a row.
3 years in a row. And our fight was in 125 weight division.
Right.
And after 2008, I was feeling that I don't want to cut weight for 125 anymore, and I was thinking to move to 60 kilos. It's about 130, 132. And after I move up, she became a champion in 125 division. And I continue the rest of my Muay Thai career in 132, 60 kilos.